Favourite album from Frank Ocean is Blonde. However, my favourite song changes more than the release date to Whole Lotta Red. God damn you, Carti. Just release it. Please.
Just release it. Please.
He finally did it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Finally, after 2 years worth of hype and about a year's worth of lying about when it will finally come out, Whole Lotta Red has dropped. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through the album, dissecting it and giving my honest opinions on it. Now, as a quick disclaimer, my opinion can change on these things. No matter what I rate it, it might be higher or lower by next week, let's say, or next month, depending on, how it grows on me, I suppose. So, I wouldn't take this too seriously. This is just my initial thoughts on it after 2 or 3 listens throughout the whole thing. Before I begin, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Anyways, let's get into Whole Lotta Red.
Like 10 blends for me. I told my boy go roll like 10 blends for me.
Although 2020 has been awful, it seems to be the year for hyped album releases. This year saw not only Whole Lotta Red release, but Lil Uzi Vert's highly anticipated album, Eternal Take. However, both albums face the same problem, being overhyped. The reason artists announce albums potentially months before release is to cause some hype, making it more likely that the artist will sell more units. However, the problem which both Uzi and Carti had is that they announced their albums years before their releases. While, on one hand, the hype for both the albums was historically high, I don't think I knew a rap fan who wasn't buzzing for these 2 albums. The wait caused extremely high expectations though. The average person would think that the longer something takes to do, the better it will be, as more effort and time is put into perfecting it and making it a lot better. For example, if I spend a few months painting a picture, it probably wouldn't be as good as if I spent a year on that picture, because I would have put more time and therefore more effort into the year-long one. So when Eternal Take finally released, my first thought, and I feel like I'm speaking for many of the people of the rap community, was that yeah, the album is good, but it wasn't worth the year's worth of wait. And this is because the album doesn't feel like it took 3 years to produce and make. Eternal Take was solid, maybe a 7 or 8 out of 10 in my eyes. But other than the deluxe edition saving it, it wasn't worth it. It didn't feel like it took that long to make. And it disappoints me to say that it was solid. The amount of hype which was made for this album brought my expectations to be lifted. And lifted a lot. Because I really like the Uzi Vert. I think he's really good. He's creative, he's fun to listen to. But his album was not that great. I mean, we're at the end of 2020 and I can comfortably think of 4, 5 albums, 6 rap albums, which were better produced and had better songs on it, and felt like it took more time to do. Which is quite shocking considering Eternal Take has been hyped up for so many years. But luckily, Uzi dropped the deluxe edition, and it was so much better than the original. The deluxe edition essentially saved its legacy, and turned it from being another very disappointing album to being arguably one of the best rap albums of 2020. Does this make things better? No, not really for me. It's because the deluxe edition is what I expected from Uzi. I expected Uzi to give me one of the best rap albums of 2020. And with Eternal Take he didn't. Which surprised, I think, a lot of people. And even though the deluxe edition could be regarded as one of the best rap albums, I was still disappointed. Because the deluxe edition of Eternal Take should be one of the best rap albums of the last 5 years, arguably. But it's not. And this is the whole point with this type of hype. This idea of announcing an album either A, before you've even started making it, or B, when you know you're not going to release it for another few years, is just a recipe for failure. And it's because the fans then anticipate this album which they believe will be one of the greatest of all time. And that's simply not what they're going to get. There's no way they will. So it then gets to a point where it's impossible to reach the expectations because of the amount of hype, because of the rumours, and because of everything like that. So it ends up with people being disappointed regardless of what you do. So the big question now is, was Whole Lotta Red worth the 2-year wait? Let me think. No. Of course it wasn't. No, that it wasn't at all. Ironically, the album feels rushed and like it took 2 months to make, rather than the 2 years we as fans believed he had been working on it for. So, to put it simply, Whole Lotta Red was not worth the wait. And that's not because it's a bad album, which I will get to later, because wow, we need to have a talk about this album. But it's because it was completely overhyped.
I'm thinking about dyeing my hair red, just to look like a pattern red. I like all of my cups so dirty, I've been sipping.
It's clear to see that Carti is attempting to experiment on this album, and I'm all for rappers experimenting and trying new things. However, quick heads up rappers, if you're going to try a new thing, please make it good. There's a reason why Kanye West's Jesus album is easily his worst project. It feels like Carti's trying to put more personality in his rapping, and it sounds like he's in a pantomime at times. Now, this technique of rapping works and is done very successfully by artists such as Ski Master Slump God. However, the reason why it works is because his lyrics are wacky and at times odd. For example, if you say, let me see here, let's make a deal, Rumpelstiltskin, she wants to see my purple pickle up in the wind. In a serious tone, you just sound like an idiot, you sound like a weirdo. Ski Mask's lyrics are written in a way that you have to add more of an animated tone while rapping to them. Now, let's look at Carti's lyrics. Not quite as wacky. If I were to compare Carti's lyrics to another rapper, it would be 21 Savage. Now, if 21 were to start adding more personality to his raps, well, he'd sound like an idiot. Because talking about murder and taking drugs while sounding like you're singing while on said drugs just sounds strange. The contrast between the persona and the lyrics is just too far. It's almost like Carti is trying to make up for his lazy lyrics by almost making his voice part of the instrumental. Only his instrument is horribly out of tune and completely off key and out of time, and probably about £3 from Asda. So I would say I was really hoping for more old Carti, which yet again Carti failed to produce and therefore disappointed me.
As a king and the queens, gather the cheese, no fees, you cannot buy these G's, running the streets, all of my.
Since this entire album was basically built on lies, I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that there were some good features on there. I thought Kanye's verse was decent, nowhere near his best. But then again, neither is anything on this project, so I guess it fits in quite nicely. My favourite feature currently is Kid Cudi's. My love for Cudi gets larger and larger after every passing day. He just keeps bringing the heat. I thought his verse was very clean. His monotone delivery complemented the instrumental brilliantly. What I don't get is why Carti didn't realise that Cudi sounded good on it and followed in his footsteps. But no, we got new Carti instead. Yay. Future's verse was okay. I mean, he basically sounded like Carti's older brother. So, I don't really have anything to say on that. Still a bit disappointed that we didn't get a Pharrell or Uzi feature, like how people speculated. But I'd say, on a positive, that the features did a decent job overall. I would say one positive is that Pierre and Carti are, as ever, still a formidable rapper and producer duo. The only two songs I could see myself listening to again, I Love You, I Hate You and Sky, are both produced by him. Not only are Pierre's beats on the album excellent, but in the songs he produced, Carti's actually rapping like old Carti, and I love it. It's exactly what I wanted from him in this album. It also shows that Carti has the potential to bounce back, if he takes the criticism of this album on the chin. So, I'd say, on a positive note, that there are at least 2 songs which are decent, out of 24. Damn, even just saying that makes me feel depressed, man. God's sake. 2 years I waited for this. 2 years I waited for 2 songs. 2 songs! Oh. I think the best word to describe this album is disappointing. Very, very disappointing. And that's not just because of the hype which was surrounding it. Even if there wasn't any hype, it's still a terrible album. Like, get rid of all the hype, get rid of all the years worth of waiting. If Carti had produced another 2 albums before this one, this album is still awful, regardless. I don't know what Iggy did to this man, but she seems to have taken every ounce of gangster and swagger and just overall coolness out of this guy. I wanted old Carti, and I didn't get it. So I guess if you like new Carti, you'll be in for a great treat. But even then, his new sound sounds, in my opinion, horrific. Based on the 2 Pierre produced songs, I believe Carti can 100% bounce back from this. But for now, this album is a complete flop. And I might even have to say that Carti's fallen off slightly, which I really didn't want to say. Damn. Right. Overall, I would rate this album a... drumroll please. And another congratulations for making it to the end of the video. Hopefully your Christmas wasn't ruined by Whole Lotta Red. But if it has, please contact me, because I know your pain. Trust me, I know your pain. I'd like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, and hopefully I release this beforehand, but if I don't, a very amazing New Year, because this year has been awful. It has been so bad. I'm actually really interested to know what you guys think of this album, so please go down in the comments below and tell me what your thoughts are on it. I'm very intrigued to see if people actually think it's as bad as I think it is. Also, please make sure to like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.